This image is part of a project by Tomas van Houtryve called Blue Sky Days, where he attached a camera to a drone and photographed the kind of everyday events in the United States that have been subject to foreign airstrikes.
The title Blue Sky Days comes from the fact that it's easier for drones to operate when there aren't any clouds in the skies because they can see the targets better. And it's 3 words that come directly from a quote of a Pakistani boy who said like he didn't like blue sky days. Shows how our thinking is flipped depending on what powers we're subject to and what violence we're brutalized by. I think Thomas is going directly for an emotional connection, and we talk about photography as often being an emotional medium, and I think surveillance and surveillance imagery challenges that. So he's tried to find this middle ground and appeal to people's humanity by photographing American weddings, American funerals, American community events.
You can look at this photograph and think of, a target strike, right? It has the kind of mapping elements that some of the other pictures that we looked at has. But you can also think of it in terms of, Kim Kardashian's wedding and what people do to keep helicopters and drones away from photographing them. It's kind of like a Life magazine illustrative images, something that really does go for the emotion and try to humanize something, which is part of what's interesting about them. And also there's such an aestheticizing mind behind these images that makes them interesting to look at.
I would definitely want to emphasize the role of the captions here in this project as well. A wedding in central Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. In December 2013, a U.S. drone reportedly struck a wedding in Rada in central Yemen, killing 12 people and injuring 14. So there's meant to be a kind of juxtaposition here that I think bridges that gap, like who's looking, like who sees images from particular kinds of perspectives.
It seems like part of the strategy here is to use the caption to establish a juxtaposition that opens up the possibility of critical thought, and more specifically opens up the possibility of identifying with someone on the ground that's being targeted by a drone. I think this is a fundamentally new type of aerial photography. This hovering at a relatively low altitude directly overhead has a different kind of perspective, like a gravitational perspective, where we can feel the pull from the drone down into making some kind of an intervention and perhaps a violent interruption of what's unfolding for the people on the ground.
Maybe it is a new type of aerial photography in that it's allowing skilled practitioners like Thomas to almost make this very impersonal type of image making one that we can connect with. Like here is made the decisive moment.